Hi there, welcome to another episode of all of this. Alright, let's go ahead and get right into it because it is officially here. It is officially October, officially the best month of the year. So let's get into it. Now, I warned you last time I probably wasn't going to be able to do a lot of reading in September, and I really didn't. September was insane. But it was a good month, good productive month. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened, got done. And I did get to read 2 books. So I do want to talk about these 2 books because they were both a lot of fun. I read a book called Supernatural Lore of Pennsylvania by Thomas White. I have read Thomas White before. It was a book on witchcraft in Pennsylvania. He tends to focus heavily on local legend here in Pennsylvania, and that interests me greatly. I have other books in my TBR by him because I've lived in Pennsylvania for 16 years. I still identify as a West Virginian, but let's be real, I've been here a long time. I should know a little more about the state. And this book was awesome. It talked a lot about local cryptids, local legend. Did you know that there are werewolf legends here in Pennsylvania? Because I did not. But now that I've read this book, I do know that. And here's the thing. I don't know if every state has a person who will sort of record the local lore, the legends and the cryptids available in each state. But if there is a person that does that, read that shit. Your home state or the state in which you now reside, read that stuff because it's so interesting and it definitely makes you feel more connected to where you're living. And I just can't recommend it enough. And fellow Pennsylvanians, read Thomas White, read these books. They're awesome. Wow. Werewolves. Wow. Among other things, there's all kinds of crazy shit here in Pennsylvania I didn't know about. It was a great read. And the second book I read was Impulses of a Necrotic Heart and Other Afflictions by Lagoe. Okay, so I want to tell you a quick story about this. A relative was having a very minor surgery. It was outpatient. The office that I was sitting in, waiting for their procedure to be over, was very busy. Just constant in and out, in and out. And the people who were coming into the waiting room were very lively and loud. And I just wanted to sit and read my book. I was kind of stressed because even though it was outpatient, even though it was a very minor surgery, it's still surgery, and give me any reason to be stressed and I will take it. I will take it and run with it and make it a bigger deal than it needs to be. That's my talent. And so I just wanted to read my book, and it was loud in there. It was busy, and there was a man, an older gentleman sitting next to me. And I think I was the first person he'd ever seen out in public with a book. Let me show you how this man was reacting to me, okay? And I eventually kind of turned and looked at him, was like, and he looked away real quick, like he didn't want to be caught being weirded out and eyeballing me. So the first story that I read in this book, I was irritated. And being irritated, it was my attitude problem. By the time I got to the second story in this book, the man had moved down a few chairs because he wanted a better view of the television and the news network playing on it. You can guess which one. So I had a little more space. I got to the second story in this collection, and the second story was so delightful, so weird and so creepy, and what a great... It wasn't even about being atmospheric. It was just weird. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is awesome. So I went back and reread, a few days later, I went back and reread the first story. And yes, it was absolutely, I was annoyed with everything going on around me and was not giving this book a fair shake, which was good because the first story and the last story in this collection are related. Yeah, this was a fantastic collection. I'd never read Lagoe again before. I will read again. This was a fantastic collection. Lots of fun. That second story, boy, I'm glad it was as strong an offering as it was, because I was in a pissy mood when I read the first one, and it was 100% my fault. It's a great story. And yeah, totally recommend this collection. So what I want to do next, because we are in the season I have Debbie is going to be in this video a few times because she never stops meowing. Hi, Debbie.
Oh, now you're being quiet. How about I interrupt your peaceful time? How about I interrupt you? Yeah, everybody meet Debbie the Big Mouth. She's very cute.
I was walking around and looking at my bookshelves. My bookshelves are in my living room, and I like to walk around and look at them. I like to study them. I like to reminisce about the books that I've read. And I was kind of making a list in my head. If someone said, hey, what books would you recommend for Halloween reading? Ones that aren't often talked about. And I was making this list, and I was like, why am I making this list for myself? Let's share it. Now, this is an arbitrary list. Am I okay? Arbitrary list. And it is based on my tastes. And if you've been here for any length of time, you know I have a thing for haunted houses and ghosts and classical ghost stories. That is my thing. This list, I'm only going to give you 7 books that I recommend, but they have, for me, for my little heart, there is something Halloween-y about them, even if Halloween isn't a part of the story itself. So these are ones that I don't hear talked about. There are the ones, go look at other people's lists. I recommend those too. But this is the one where they're not really talked about. So the first book on this list is The Amityville Horror by J. Anson. Listen to me. Divorce the book from the movies, from the Warrens. Divorce the book from all of that and just read it as a piece of fiction. Just read it as a creepy haunted house book. And it's more than that. Just take it for what it is. And it's a great read, actually. Just trust me, give it a try. You gotta push all that other shit out of the way and just focus on the book. It's a good book. The second book I want to recommend, it might be hard to find, but you should be able to find a lot of these for free online. It's Ghost Stories of an Antiquary by M.R. James. There are some amazing short stories in this. M.R. James did spooky like nobody's business, and I don't think he gets talked about enough for that, because he gets lumped in with the cosmic horror fellows so much, and he absolutely did that. But he also did spooky ghost stories, almost like they're almost Victorian in essence, and they're such good reads. Read this, it's so good. The next one is a book I talked about just a couple months ago, Pendulum by Ruby Jean Jensen. This is a book, it is Halloweeny because it takes place around Halloween. The whole atmosphere, like I said when I first talked about this book, everything about the setting, the time of year, the temperatures, everything that was going on around took me back to my own childhood, to what Halloween was like when I was a kid. And every time I see the book sitting on my shelf, I think that's a Halloween book. Please read it. The next book, Hell House by Richard Matheson. And yeah, it should be required reading. It's so good. It's so weird. And if you've never watched the movie is definitely more toned down than the book. The book is crazy. The book is crazy. It's so good though. The movie is definitely, they tone down, they kind of blank on some of the more severe things that happened at Hell House that make it so legendary. But watch the movie too. This is a yearly watching for me and my family. My kids love the movie. Yeah, total Halloween thing. The next one is a book. It's called Ghost House by Clare McNally. This one, and for the men out there, please just hear me out. It has an element of romance to it, but not that it's romantic horror. This is a horrible book. The things that happen in this book this is a horror book. And it's more horror than even what Anne Rice would have written. But there is an element of romance to it that is central to what's going on. But it's a fantastic book, fantastic haunting book. And it has the best haunted house books delve into the history of the area, the history of the house, and explains the haunting a little bit. That's what makes it so interesting, the history. And this definitely touches on that. Makes me happy. And the last book I want to talk about is I think I read this one last year, but I definitely talked about it on this channel. Bad Things by Tamara Thorne. And I'm still stressing because I don't know if it's Tamara, I don't know. But this book, I have notes on it. You know, the book is a mess. There were whole parts of this book that could have been cut out, cleaned it up, made it a little more lean, and yet I loved this book. Now this book, I'm recommending it because I associate it now with Halloween. Many decades pass in the telling of this book. It is a long time frame of this book, but the two biggest events that happen in this book take place on Halloween. Halloween is important in the storytelling of this, and it's so weird. It's such a weird book. It's such a weird premise, and it's so good, and it's so heartbreaking. And yes, read this one. Also, if I may, and I do may, I'm going to talk about it, to recommend Halloween reads. Every year I put out a Halloween short story. Last year, I put out a collection of the first 5 of my Halloween short stories. It's collected in a book called Halloween My Way. You can find it on Amazon. You can, if you want a signed copy, you can buy it off my website, summercannon.com, and I'll throw some Halloween stickers in there with it. But I put out another Halloween short this year, a short story called Watcher. It is ebook only. All of the short stories, they're 99 cents, but they're ebook only. They're very short stories. This year's Watcher is about, let me think, once great cities that are left to rot. They're forgotten. The industries that made them great are either obsolete or they've moved on. And it's like the town I live in. There are old, grand mansions here that are just left to crumble and rot. And they have interesting histories that are forgotten by the general population. And when you forget about these grand houses, you forget about their histories, you forget about their reputations. And sometimes those reputations should not be forgotten, because there are things that come with those properties that have longer memories than the cities themselves. And yes, so it's not a haunting per se, but it is about something that is attached to the property, something that literally is on the property watching over it. So maybe give that a try.
Okay, because I forgot to say it before, my name is Summer Cannon. I'm a horror author. I'm an award-winning horror author. I was recently in a New York Times best-selling horror anthology, so those are my credentials if you want to buy my books.
Now, we are done with that. I don't want to talk about movies because I feel like I talk about movies a lot. I actually don't, but after the Year of the Werewolf, it was a lot of talk about movies. But you have your list of haunted house movies and Halloween movies and monster movies and slasher movies, and everybody has their own thing that they like to watch, so I don't want to do that. I wanted to make sure we talked about books. But one more thing I want to talk about is my little hobby shop. I made a little, it's called a Halloween witchy box. And if you know anybody who thinks that the witchy aesthetic or anything like that is cute and fun, or you actually know someone who is witchy, who likes that kind of thing, this little gift box is a fun little gift to have for them. So here's a little thing that I made describing what is in the box. Okay, real quick, what's going to be in the Halloween witchy box? So the first thing that's included are little pocket altars, and they're just little tin boxes. And I'll show you what's inside of them. Inside you get, I mean, this is as serious as you want it to be. Inside you get representations for all 4 elements. So these are incense cones. So that's air, candle, fire, little thing of salt, earth. And then you get a itty bitty teeny tiny goblet. You have to provide the water that goes in there. If you can hear Debbie, I'm so sorry. Debbie never shuts up. She is the loudest cat ever. You also get 2 gemstones. So this one comes with rose quartz and a desert flower, desert rose I think it's called. Then you get a pentagram, and this has a protective cover on it. That's why it looks like crap, but you peel the protective cover off, you get a mirror. And that's everything you need for your mini altar. The box also comes with sage smudge stick. You get a little witchy pen. Looks like a little witch's broom. You get a bookmark. And you need a bookmark because you can get, well, it's not can, you will. A little handmade journal. I made these, guys. I made these. Learned how to do binding, hand-torn pages so it looks all rough and cute. So you can either get the spooky house one or the little witchy hat one. You can also get spider soap. I have a bar of this in my kitchen that I'm using right now. It's soap, it works good. And you also get candles. Now here are some of the ones you can get. Little owl ones. These are made of soy wax. Soy wax is very, very soft. So just be careful with these because the little details in the mold pouring, they're very delicate. So if you get the owls, you'll get both because they're both very small, but they're very cute. You can also get this beautiful flowery skull. Now I scented these very lightly with an apple scent because apples are the fruit of the dead. I just associate it so much with spooky season, scent of apples. And then you can get a pillar one. Isn't that gorgeous? The molds did so well. And that's what you get in the spooky witchy box. Okay, bye. Hi again. So now that you've seen that, if that seems interesting to you, awesome. If that's not your thing, also cool. Check out the books. That's it. Well, this wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot longer. But I don't know if October is going to be any better. My reading goals for 2025 are in the absolute shitter. That I'm not going to meet my reading goals for the first time in a long time. And it's 100% because I'm doing that thing where I'm doom scrolling, and then to try to disassociate from the doom scrolling, I do stupid scrolling too, because reading, you're still kind of in your head, and I need to not be here for a little bit after reading the news sometimes, and I'm just stupid scrolling, and I'm not reading as much as I want to, and that really needs to change. I probably should download one of those things on my phone that locks me out of it for extended periods of time, so I'm forced to do something else, because this isn't healthy. This news available to you at all times is not good for us, you guys. So yeah, I'm going to try to do better. Actually, I have another Tamara Thorne book ready to go. That's the next in my TBR pile that's ready to go. It's been a year, you guys. Good and awful, and I'm happy to be here though, and I'm happy you're here. Thank you so much for always coming and commenting. You know what I'd like to hear from you? What's your favorite Halloween read? You know what else I'd like to hear from you? What's your favorite Halloween movie? I don't care if it's said 1,000 times by other people. Tell me what's your favorite. Tell me why it's your favorite. Talk to me. Talk to me about happy things. Talk to me about Halloween. It's the season. Let's get into it, okay? So I will see you next month. There will be something to talk about, I promise. But that'll be it for me. And I just want to thank you for being here.